So you've got a lot of foraged greenery in this beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, free stuff's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Chop and Brew. I am Chip Walton. It is a frigid winter day here in Midway, St. Paul, Minnesota, but that's not what I'm thinking about. What I've got on my mind are the warmer, green days of the not-so-distant past, because in this episode, we are keeping it fresh. Fresh hops, that is. As we pick fresh hops, brew with fresh hops, and enjoy some fresh hopped homebrew at one of my favorite taproom spots in the Twin Cities, Grumpy's Northeast. Come along as we harvest hops from the backyard of Grumpy's, and we brew a batch on site of Grumpy's Gold Fresh Hop Ale with so many wet hops, we had to invent some unexpected workarounds to get all that wort out of the kettle. And then we returned to taste not just one, but two beers fresh hopped with that haul from Grumpy's Hopyard. We've got some big time wet hop fun just ahead. Before we get started, a quick reminder that all Chop and Brew episodes are brought to you with support from Imperial Yeast, whose hybrid yeast Capri we'll be talking about during the tasting notes part of this video. You might also like to know that Imperial's limited edition release for this winter is Huga, a Danish lager yeast perfect for your cold weather fermentations. And of course, the Patreon party people who've been keeping it fresh and keeping it real with Chop and Brew for many years now. Join them in supporting the show at patreon.com/chopandbrew. The brew day for this fresh hop beer went down about 2 months ago in late September with my buddy Tony Erickson, who's a former professional brewer and a current jack of all trades at Grumpy's, where he maintained more than 30 varieties of hops in the side yard of the bar this year. And these are third-year growth hops. So as you can see, a lot of these vines are very prolific. Giant, bushy tops, just like cascading hops everywhere, big cones. Really fun day to be a part of it. Tony asked if I could help recruit a few people to come out and help cut vines down, pick as many hops as we could use to either take home or brew on site, and we definitely chose to brew on site. We ended up with about a half dozen or so people, including myself and Tony, badass Brian Adams and Leaf, my Northern Brewer co-worker Abby, and my home brewer pal Corey Wright, who happens to live very close to Grumpy's, which came in very handy for our brew day. We filled multiple large grocery bags with hops, but didn't really get a lot of takers from the local clubs for hops. So sadly, the majority of this hop yard yield for this year went to the compost. However, the most fun part of that day was brewing a fresh hop beer right there in the yard, with hops going straight from the vine to the boil kettle. We chose a pretty easy recipe to keep things simple. 7 pounds of Pils dry malt extract went into the kettle for a full volume boil. Got it up to a boil and bittered the brew with 1 ounce of cashmere hops. These are known for kind of citrus, tropical, sometimes floral notes, which I thought would work well with both the fresh hops and the Imperial Capri yeast that we would ferment with. Boiled the wort for 60 minutes, then at flame out, all the action went down when we straight bombarded the whirlpool with one of these full bags of wet hops. It was a lot of hops, as you can see, like a dumb amount of hops for a 5-gallon batch. What you got going on there, Leaf?
It's a whirlpool.
The stick looks awful bendy.
Yeah, I just heard it.
Did you hear it crack?
Yeah.
This hop soup that we'd created smelled immaculate and had this super slick, kind of oily looking sheen to it with all those lupulin pollen floating around. Just a really fun thing to be a part of. But here's where things went a little left. Instead of chilling the beer on site, which would make things a lot more complicated, more equipment we'd have to bring, we decided that Corey would bring a sanitized keg. We would transfer the hot wort into that keg, then he would take it home, chill it, pitch yeast, ferment at his house. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, not so much. We failed to bring a bazooka screen or a false bottom, so now we're scooping hops out, pressing the liquid out as much as we can, and hoping for the best, because as soon as we open the ball valve to drain into this keg, it
So yeah,
it immediately clogged. That's how much wort we got. Dude, you're bending my wife's spoon, bro.
That's not a brewing smash. Uh-oh.
It's all right. Oh, man. With the ball valve completely clogged with hops, Brian Adams had the ingenious idea to take one of the big, thick chunks of hop bind, sanitize it, and then jam it into the ball valve to kind of clear a lane for the wort to come out into the keg. And then we used a slotted spoon to act as kind of a hop block of sorts against the inside of that ball valve. So once again, rescued from a rookie mistake by the innovation and improvisational skills of homebrewers. Aside from that little hiccup with the hops being blocked, it was a super fun brew day, and we did end up getting all 5 gallons of wort that we wanted. Corey took it home, cooled it, pitched Imperial Capri, fermented it at about 69 to 70 Fahrenheit. It got down to 10-11, which made me very happy because sometimes extract beers kind of have a reputation for not getting that low. It was about 10-10 actually, 10-10, 10-11. But I wasn't surprised by it because Imperial's Capri is a hybrid yeast parented by Imperial's Juice, which is a hazy IPA strain, and Loki, which is their Voss Kvike strain. We all know Kvike often can ferment things very low, very dry. So really happy with that effort. In my previous interviews with Dr. Matt Winans of Imperial, he has suggested Capri for hazy or hazy-ish beers, particularly ones where the hop bill is really showcasing citrus forward hops. And as I knew we would have a blend of a bunch of different, potentially even unidentifiable hops in our fresh hop whirlpool, I knew most of them would lean kind of citrusy, orangey, lemony. You know, most hops kind of have that in their wheelhouse. So I figured that would be a great yeast to play with. About a month or so later, we gathered once again at Grumpy's, but this time the hopyard was a whole different scene, completely covered in snow. Classic Minnesota for late November. So we bellied up to a table indoors before the bar opened on a Saturday and had ourselves a fun little tasting note session on Grumpy's Gold Fresh Hop Ale, plus a bonus beer brewed with some of Grumpy's hops from local homebrewer Brady Evenson. Back here at the scene of the crime, that crime of passion, the passion being brewing. We're here at Grumpy's to taste the fresh hop beers from the backyard, which is no longer that green and verdant.
Nope.
Nope.
We're joined by Brady, who wasn't a part of the original day, but also came along after the fact and picked up a big old Target bag or 2 of the fresh hops and made his own beer. So we actually have 2 Grumpy fresh hop ales. Super excited. People know how ours was brewed, so let's actually start with you, Brady. When you came later that day and got some hops, what went down?
Well, yeah, I got the 2 bags of hops that you guys separated out, which is great. And then I grabbed a few vines for my kids to pull. They didn't like working, so that went shortly. But I did an all-grain brew, a mix, a 50-50 blend of Pils and pale malt. And then I threw in a little bit of Munich and like a caramel 20 or 40, just to give it some body. And then I bittered with Magnum and Dr. Rudy. And I was hoping for about 50 IBUs on that, so that's kind of my goal, to shoot that. I did a pound of the fresh hops as a first wort steep, and I just kind of let them get in there as I was collecting the wort, and then pulled them out with a strainer before boiling.
Okay.
Just hoping to get some oils and stuff in there while it was going, and then
But not have them in the boil.
Yeah, I didn't want to have all that hot material in there to suck up the wort and liquid. So then I pulled them out, boiled as normal, and then put in 4 pounds as it was chilling. And that was a ton.
And we didn't do any measurement on day of picking, but
Just
Brady ran the numbers. Apparently, one of those bags was about 4.
Yep, one of those Target bags.
So
Standard,
our 5-gallon batch then, by default, seems to have had 4 pounds of fresh hops.
Yeah, yep. Big whirlpool.
Yeah. So let's talk about the beers. Let's start with Brady's.
Cool. Yeah.
It's we all kind of noted, well, cheers.
Cheers.
Salud. It's very like orange bronze color, clear, which you kind of pointed out is a little different than the way it's been pouring at home.
Right. I think it had a little bit of, a few extra days in the bottle to kind of settle out, but it's been hazy at home.
It's got a great bitterness, a very pungent, layered hop field, I would say,
Yeah.
Yep.
of flavors. Interesting thing, though, about the yeast, though, that we also kind of have to take into consideration, maybe.
Yeah, so I had brewed a spruce tip IPA ahead of time, like 10 days before this beer, and then I used the same yeast cake. So racking the fresh hop beer onto that yeast cake, I feel like it got a little bit of that pine and spruce from that. So
Spring spruce tips, though, so also maybe some citrus.
yes.
So you've got a lot of foraged greenery in this beer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
Hey,
got
free,
nice-
free stuff's good stuff.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm definitely tasting that more after you mentioned it. You know, obviously very.
Got your brain.
Yeah. I have a very suggestible palate, but yeah, getting that more. It's nice though. Like it all blends together.
It seems like it's right down the middle of bitterness and sweetness too. So it's at a 50 IBU, you're probably real close to the mark,
Yeah.
if not right on.
Right.
How much Munich is in there? I feel like there's a little bit of that kind of bready.
I would think about. I didn't look over my notes. My mistake, but I think it's about a pound.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I'm guessing, it was about 45% of Pils and pale malt, and then whatever that last 10%, it would be Munich, and then just a little bit of caramel, maybe 4 to 8 ounces.
It's kind of nice to have a beer that takes that approach, because so many times I feel like fresh hop beers like ours really lean like base malts, not a lot of bittering, all about the whirlpool fresh hop or wet hop, whatever you call it. This one has almost like a Sierra Nevada pale, celebration-y kind of leaning
On
into
tap
that.
right now. You want one?
What's that?
We got it on tap right now.
Celebration.
Oh, yeah? That might have to be dessert then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest thing is I didn't want to lose any of the bitterness. I hate to make a fresh hop beer and then it just be all malt.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to try to get some definite bitterness in with the Magnum, and then whatever bonus hop flavor came from the greens is what I was going for.
And it's a hodgepodge, as we noted. Like, we were just picking a bunch of varieties, and they were all going into one bag, so God knows what's actually in either of these beers as far as fresh hops
Yeah.
go.
I gotta be honest, I lost my map to what 30 varietals we had back there, so sorry.
Do you know of any specific varietals that were
Oh,
back there?
I mean, name a popular one.
Oh, okay.
Cascade,
all the
Yes.
C's.
Chinook.
Yeah.
He just doesn't necessarily remember, like,
Where they were.
Right,
the placement chart.
Yep.
I mean, there was Idaho 7. There was, your Noble Hops in your Holler's House. We had Magnum back there somewhere.
Okay.
But I could not tell you which is which at this point. That was our third grow year, so
Okay.
It's cool though. I mean, I like the blend.
yeah.
A lot of times
Of whatever it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's go to our beer. Let's go to the Grumpy's Fresh Hop Golden Ale, or as I'm going to call it, Grumpy's Gold.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice strain, right?
Or a Billy Crystal movie.
Yeah.
So cheers, Grumpy's Gold. Ours is a little hazier. It is malt extract, bittered with an ounce of cashmere. And that was it until the end, and then we bombarded it and so many hops that we nearly broke a plastic stirring spoon.
Yep.
Forgot the false bottom, so it completely clogged the kettle. We had to I don't know if, do you see that video where we busted off a piece of bine, sanitized
Oh, yeah.
it, and
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
I had a
Yes,
little
I
used
did.
it as the large poking device of sorts? And,
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, it took
great.
all four of us, or all five of us, to really put one brain together to fix that problem. Because we were like, what do we? And then I was blocking it from the inside with the strainer so it didn't clog.
It's a
Anywho,
good technique. Yeah.
so yeah, the second you poured, I was very happy. I was expecting, between it being extract and the bad reputation of extract and just kind of the cluster effiness of the end of the day, this tastes like a nice bitter as
Straightforward.
well, kind of like a lemon hazy beer almost. And it was
Yeah.
Capri. So Capri from Imperial, they say use it for hazies, use it for with hops of a citrus nature, since we didn't really know what those were. But I figure more hops than not lean somewhat citrusy. So I kind of figured if there's Chinook, Centennial, Cascade somewhere in this blend.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot of dank going on, which I would have expected from many of those that you listed, but
I'm honestly willing to bet we might have, collectively, I'll have a lot of Idaho 7.
yeah.
That one, I think, has been growing really well around here. So, and that's the one that got all the light when we started in that corner.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
that's just me trying to remember off the top of my head. I can't be sure.
Right.
So,
And then, yeah, I mean, on the day, I mean, I know it was all pre-fermentation, but there was just so much exposure with the beer. Like I was, worried about that, but like, there was obviously no signs of infection or anything like that. But
I guess one other thing is the way that, so you just took it home in a sanitized keg and didn't cool it for quite some time later. Not that it was sitting on those hops at those high temps, but it was sitting at those high temps with obviously hop oils in it. So there might even be a little nerdy
Extra bitterness.
isomerization kind of happening
yeah,
from that long, we'll call it an extended whirlpool
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
keg.
yeah. No, I mean, it went right into the fridge, like right when I got home. So that helps. But yeah, it was. I mean, I'm sure
not
it
like it was
took.
like that, too.
Yeah, I'm sure it took a while to cool all the way.
What flavors you get? Taste extracty? That's always the first question I ask.
Don't get the.
I don't
twang.
get that at all.
Good.
No.
It's not farmy like extract usually is.
Yeah, full volume boil I think always helps that. Using dry versus liquid helps that.
Yep. I think dry is the right call. It's just,
Yeah, it's really melony. Got a little bit of lemon in there. It's just nice and bright. Same as Rady's,
Yeah, definite like showcase for the hops, but not, overly resiny or anything like that. I
It
think
doesn't
it's
bite like a
balanced.
really sticky IPA, like you're saying.
Yeah.
It's crisp. It's light.
Chuggable.
Watch.
It's fun to
Oh boy.
watch how to do it. So yeah, this was real fun.
O'clock
We're
somewhere.
4 ounces.
full
Bye,
circle.
Michael.
Started in the backyard at Grumpy's, ends at a table right in front of the taps. Anything else you guys want to say about the beer? We'll do it again next year.
Oh yeah, we'll bring a false bottom.
Yep, and we'll
Yep.
get more people. That was supposed to be a much bigger, both picking, help, and maybe a couple more like brewing setups. But
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
for the inaugural year we did what we did and didn't waste that many hops. Did you get anybody else come by?
Nope.
Oh, damn.
But I think in total we probably, after Brady came by, we probably did 15% of what we had.
Right.
That's about it.
I mean, like picked or.
Just
Distributed.
in use.
Yeah. Wow.
So we can get definitely a few more brewers next year. So
Yep. This is a call to action.
Next year, MSP homebrew clubs. Check your inbox.
My main takeaway was being able to transport the wort in a sanitized keg. I mean, that could be a game changer if you're doing a remote brew, and you have the equipment and the time to bring it back and get it chilled at your place. I mean, I'm sure could have put it through a chiller or something like that, but just chilling it like that, I thought it turned out just fine.
Did you then ferment it in that keg, or did you rack it to a ferment?
I did rack it to a fermenter. Yeah.
I hadn't
Yeah.
thought. I was like, did you just pitch yeast? I mean, it's
Some
not
people-
the wildest thing that people are doing at this point,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, hey, if you could build in a 3-piece airlock to a disconnect, then double game changer.
Oh,
Well, we'll see.
run through a jockey box.
Or spund it.
Yeah.
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 pressurized fermentation.
Yeah. Nice.
These are all ideas for another day. All right, y'all.
Indeed.
Cheers. Keep it fresh.
Cheers.
Chop for chop.
Brew for brew.
Woo woo.